Ladies and gentlemen, hustlers of all ages, welcome to the Six Figure Playbook with your host, Alan, the Ace Man Dickie.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is that you right now are listening to this week's episode of the Six Figure Playbook. I'm your host, Alan Dickie, aka the Ace Man, and I'm super excited to be along with you for this week's episode and this week's topic. And what are we talking about this week? Well, we're talking about faith, ladies and gentlemen. Faith. I love that word. I remember hearing it described best as this: faith steps on seeming void and finds the rock beneath. Chew on that for a minute. The reason faith is so important is if you're ever going to create these substantial six-figure incomes in your lives, in your businesses, in your selling careers, faith will be demanded of you. I mean, it's a prerequisite for success, in my opinion. And the reason being is because every time you set out to accomplish any goal, the goals are usually lofty ones. They're usually things that seem to be very far, very out of reach. And the only way you ever accomplish them is you need to have faith in your ability to manifest them, to bring them about. One of the best sayings I've heard, and I remind myself as well as everybody I ever come in contact with, is this: sight is the greatest enemy of vision. Think about that. Sight is the greatest enemy of vision. You see, a lot of people say to themselves, okay, I'm selling cars now and I want to become the six-figure monster, the six-figure performer in my dealership. Okay, that's cool. Problem is, if you've got 10 sales representatives on your floor, more than likely 7 of them are going to tell you how you can only make 50 grand a year selling cars. Remember what I've said on past episodes, okay? 3% of the country generates a six-figure income or greater. So just by default, the mass majority of people that you rub shoulders with in life, they don't have the faith necessary in their abilities to achieve their desired results. And this could be very dangerous for yourself. So it's important that you understand the importance of faith and the power of faith and the necessity of faith if you are going to achieve these amazing goals that you're setting out to achieve. I remember myself at various stages in my career when I first started selling automobiles, and I said to myself, well, I am a six-figure performer and I need to bring this about in my life. I wrote down a game plan as to how I was going to get there, and we discussed that on the previous episode. Plan your work your plan. But at the end of the day, when it was all written out and it all was logical and it made sense to me, there was still a missing component, right? Because all of that logic and all of that sense that my goals made to me after I had written them down didn't mean they necessarily were going to show up. It didn't mean they had manifested themselves the second I put pen to paper. What was necessary is for me to look at that game plan and believe in my heart of hearts that if I was to follow that game plan, if I was to show up and take a disciplined set of actions on a consistent basis, which were clearly listed as a part of my game plan, that my desired result would show up, that I would be able to create and manifest that result in my career and in my life. And this is something I learned very early on, and I continue to practice by leaning against this understanding in every aspect of my life. Here's the thing I want to share with all of you today. I probably would have preferred to make this the inaugural episode, the very first episode of the Six Figure Playbook podcast, because of how vitally important it is. It's critical if you are ever going to achieve these performance levels. But the reason I waited until now is I really wanted all of you listening, to really ask yourselves, of all the principles that I've shared in the past, 10, 12 episodes, have you had the faith in your ability to bring them about in your life and in your career? You really need to ask yourself that, because this is the only thing that is separating the true stud performers on planet Earth from the mediocre. It is just that. People who perform and experience these incredible levels of success, they understood everything I'm telling you. They understood that sight is the greatest enemy of vision. They understood that while their goal was at first to create a six-figure income, and perhaps today is to create multiple six-figure incomes, they knew that at the time where they were, when they made these decisions, nothing in their environment showed them any of this to be a reality. The car they drove, the home they lived in, the apartment they rented, the clothes they wear, the watch on their wrist, none of it reflected this six-figure performance that they were determined to create. And so the only way that they were able to bring it about, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well, the only way I have been able to bring it about is through faith. We talked about guarantees last week or the week before, I can't recall, but we talked about guarantees, and there's nothing that is guaranteed in life. So if this is a fact, why is it we still get hung up on taking action or having faith in our ability to take action to bring about these desired results? There's really no excuse for it. And this is why I want to share with you a couple stories to help really drive home my point. You know, when I think about when I started my business, and this is very important, you want to remember what I'm about to share with you, but when I first started my business, one of the most valuable things I learned in the first 3 to 4 weeks of being AlanDickie.com, the machine, one of the very first things I learned is that there was no money in the kitchen. There was no money in my kitchen. You see, my kitchen table in my house, I'll never forget, that's where I sat. I had my laptop open. I remember saying goodbye to my wife one morning as she was off to work, probably very nervous as well as she looked at me at the kitchen table wondering, how is this guy going to do all these things he says he's going to do? But anyway, she was off to work and I would be at my kitchen table. And I had a game plan. I said to myself, okay, well, I've got all this knowledge and expertise in the automotive sales world. It's time to put together some curriculum, some materials, because I am the trainer. I'm going to go out and train the world how to be amazing. Well, I found out very quickly that as I sat there was no money in my kitchen. No matter how much creative material, I was working on developing, nobody was going to pay me in my kitchen. I was not going to bump into a potential customer or a client in my kitchen. And so I came to the conclusion very early on, because again, I really believe less is more, folks. You've heard KISS before, keep it simple, stupid. I really believed it was as simple as this. I had to get up every single day and I had to operate in faith. And it was this simple. I just realized all the money was out there on planet Earth, outside. And so what I did is every single day, I would wake up, I would shower, shave, get ready, fully suited and booted. I would jump into my car and throw the car into reverse. And that was basically all of the game plan that I had. Now I know this sounds kind of silly, but I've met so many people that get hung up on planning to such a degree they never take any action. Because again, there's this gray space, there's this weird area that you will have to step out and away from your planning to manifest what exactly it is you are planning for. You are going to have to step out and have faith for your plan to work. So for me, in the infancy of my business, I understood that the money was out there on planet Earth, and if I got up, if I was prepared, because remember, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. If I was prepared, I would be in a position to meet opportunity out in the marketplace. And it was funny because what actually ended up happening is I would get out, I would be driving around in my car, and then after a short while, I'd simply realize, okay, well, my market at this stitch in time was automotive dealerships. That was the space I was going to operate, and share and train and develop people through my expertise, through what I have learned, in that industry. And so it was car dealerships I needed to be at. Now, I didn't get hung up on what approach is and all the 101 things you could potentially plan for. I just knew that I had to be having conversations with people of authority inside automotive dealerships, and by doing so, I would expose myself to opportunities. Again, with luck being what happens when preparation meets opportunity, I was already prepared. I know my deal inside and out. But I needed to get into a position where I could create the conversations. And so basically what I'm telling you here is I had this business that in theory and with all the planning in the world made a ton of sense to me. It showed me a lot of ways that I could go and serve the marketplace, train, develop the abilities of individuals that would guarantee their success in production. And through that, word of mouth could take over and my business would explode. That is the short version of it, but that was the core mentality behind what I was thinking. But when I had the faith to get out of my house, it was only then that I was able to expose myself to these opportunities. Ultimately, what happened was a series of really amazing stories that perhaps I'll share on future episodes to tell you how I did step by step build and develop this machine that I operate today. But getting back to faith, folks, I can't stress it enough. When you are looking to create these six-figure performances in your life and in your careers and in your businesses, there is a point where you are going to have to step away from the planning. You're going to have to step away from all of the logic, okay? Because I know you've got logical approaches. I know you've planned things out in your career on how you're going to sell a ton of automobiles, sell a ton of your products, services, thoughts, ideas, or concepts, whatever you're doing. And you've also listened to podcasts, much like this one, that have provided you with a ton of amazing content, a ton of amazing principles that are guaranteed to produce fruit. They're guaranteed to deliver success. But the only thing that is holding you back is this invisible thing that binds you when you don't exercise and operate under faith. So many of you are right there. You're right on the edge, right on the cusp of experiencing these incredible levels of success in your careers and in your lives. But until you step out, until you realize that faith is not only mandatory, it's necessary for you to achieve the results you're looking to achieve, you're going to go nowhere. So why not now? Why not today? Why not this very second? As you're listening to my voice on this podcast, make that decision. Make that decision that you are going to take everything you have thought through carefully, your plan, your game plan I'm talking about. You're going to take all of that and you're going to go for failure now. You're going to go for failure through having faith in your ability to achieve your desired results, because you are the same individual who has stepped out from whatever position you were in, whatever stage of your career you were in, to make a commitment to change. I mean, that's why you're listening to me right now, isn't it? Faith is mandatory. So many times in my career, I've had to lean on my faith to achieve my results. And I'm just trying to share with you folks, because it's funny, isn't it? Kind of ironic. The exact same faith I'm speaking about would be required of you to take advantage of everything I'm giving you, including this very episode and all the ones that have come before it. If you don't believe in me, if you don't believe in the A.C.E man's ability to guide you, to guide your steps, to tell you, hey man, trust me and do what I'm telling you. Just follow it blindly like a child and you will experience the success. You need to have faith to make those decisions and to ultimately take those steps and take that action if you're ever going to experience any of your desired results. So, I'm thinking right now, and I love this. I love doing these podcasts because, as I've stated in the past, I get to really speak to things that are on my mind in the current moment. And right now, something just came into my mind where I want to give all of you guys an opportunity. All of the listeners, I'm giving you and you alone an opportunity. And the opportunity is this, okay? I've got a program. And the program's called my Sales Tips, Tactics, and Techniques program. Now, this is a program that I designed for the automotive space, but in all actuality, it transcends any and all industries. I've said it many times in the past, sales is sales is sales. The only thing that changes is X, and X equals the product. In this program, there's over 100 chapters. They're all video teachings that speak to a ton of selling principles. And I'm talking some incredible stuff that literally you will be able to put to practice and bear fruit with the very same day you digest them. Now, this is a program that I do sell for $397. Worth every penny. My gosh, I should probably sell it for $3,997. But that's not my goal here. When I provide material to the marketplace, it's never about the money, folks. You need to understand that. You see, my money comes from different sources. But what it is I understand you need to have skin in the game. See, when an individual has skin in the game, that's where they're truly going to get committed behind what they've invested in. So I want to give all of you an opportunity here. And the opportunity is this. If you go to my website, you can scroll down and you will see the Sales Tips, Tactics, and Techniques program. You can click on it. It'll take you to a page where there will be a video sales letter there, and the video will explain to you exactly what you're getting, and in essence, I'm already explaining that now. But when you go there, here is the faith opportunity I'm going to provide you. When you go there, and I just made this decision now, so this is kind of fun for me as well, and it's really going to show a lot of about you, the listeners, so I can see exactly where your faith is at. But I want to help you, and I know sometimes it's difficult to step out in faith, so I'm going to make it easy here. I know that this program in the hands of any human being on planet Earth is invaluable. Why? Because I don't care if you're a teacher. One day you're going to have to sell somebody on why you should be the principal. Okay, so sales is mandatory in life if you plan to create anything. So everybody on planet Earth could benefit from this. But when you go to this program and you click on that link and you go to buy it, I'm going to give you a coupon code, and we're going to call that coupon code FAITH. Okay? You go to that page and you type in the coupon code FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, okay? I'm going to give you that program at 50% off, all right? I'm going to give you a program that'll cost you, I don't know, help me with the math, $198.50, whatever it is. And if you are going to make a decision today to have faith in everything that I'm teaching you, all of these past podcast episodes, including this nugget that I'm giving you, this program, the Sales Tips, Tactics, and Techniques program, then I'm going to give you an opportunity to capture this program through faith at half the price. And then I'll also encourage you to email me personally at alandickey@alandickey.com with your thoughts and opinions on the program after you've ordered it. Everything I do is guaranteed, folks. So if any of you email me back and say, hey man, this program was no good, I'll give you a full refund. How's that? You've got that recorded. But on that note, I want to wrap up this episode. By letting you know faith is necessary and it's mandatory if you're ever going to create these six-figure performances in your lives. So stop dragging your heels. Some of you have been listening to this podcast for over 3 months now, and you know yourself. Just look in the mirror and ask, have you been operating through faith to bring about all of these desired results? Have you operated under faith to take action on every principle that I've shared with you? And finally, are you ready to start operating under faith and take advantage of a program that is guaranteed to change your lives and definitely get you in that six-figure space? My Sales Tips, Tactics, and Techniques program. Again, you can find it on my website, or you can type in www.alandickey.com/ST3. Okay? Go ahead there, and when you make that purchase, type in the coupon code FAITH, and you're going to pick it up for 50% of the investment. That's an invaluable opportunity. I came with that just off the top of my head because you want to know something? I reward faith. And here is an example of how I'm willing to reward it. Faith, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, this has been another amazing episode of the Six Figure Playbook podcast, and I want to encourage you all, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or any other podcast provider you're utilizing, so every single Tuesday, these episodes are dropping right to you live. If you need me or are looking for me, you can find me on social media. Just Google my name. All of my websites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram pages will be there. I appreciate you following me. I appreciate your support. And I look forward to delivering more invaluable information as we move forward in the Six Figure Playbook podcast. Make it a great day, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.